This is Fieldsports Channel News. Grouse shooting is back, and despite the weather and the usual protests, shooters from across the UK were out to enjoy one of the biggest days in the Fieldsports calendar. However, the run-up to the 12th saw a clampdown by landowner United Utilities. It announced it would refuse to renew game shooting leases on its land. Now the National Gamekeepers Organisation and BASC have hit back. They've succeeded in getting the water company to agree to hold consultations and review, with 23 shoots affected. Elsewhere in Scotland, it was the final glorious 12th before new legislation to licence grouse moors comes into force next year. Shooting organisations are pinning their hopes on new environmental reports showing improvements in hen harrier brood management and increases in other breeding birds on grouse moors, such as curlews, to help the sport continue. Hunt saboteurs were out in force on the 12th, with disruption experienced on shoots, including one in North Yorkshire at Nidderdale. BASC this week has submitted evidence to the Financial Conduct Authority in an attempt to stop the debanking scandal from further damaging field sports and shooting businesses. Incredibly, BASC says debanking has affected a third of businesses working in the sector. Chancellor Jeremy Hunt ordered the FCA to look into the issue. The BASC evidence says shooting clubs, syndicates and trade organisations have experienced the sudden closure of accounts, with almost two-thirds of respondents reporting difficulties opening a bank account. BASC is calling on gun owners for one last push to complete the government's consultation on gun ownership. So far, more than 72,000 people have taken part in the Home Office consultation for firearms licensing. With a couple of weeks left, it's vital those interested go online and fill in the survey. It closes on the 23rd of August 2023. Link below.
There's still a week to go, and it would be great if we could get that number up. So please, take 5 minutes, and if you care about shooting, add your voice to the thousands who've already spoken out in support of it.
As reported last week, legendary Welsh angler Gwilym Hughes has launched a campaign to deal with predatory birds on Welsh rivers. Gwilym has accused Natural Resources Wales of ignoring nature and destroying stocks of wild and migratory fish like salmon and sea trout. His petition to NRW has already gathered 1,500 signatures. He says NRW has destroyed the natural balance in prolific salmon rivers such as the Welsh Dee, the Wye and the Tavy by encouraging predators at the expense of fish welfare.
The avian predation is climbing. The fish population is dropping. And we have an imbalance in nature. And what my petition is about is to get that redressed. In as much that I want to bring these two levels there, so that we're back to where we were.
NRW tells Fieldsports News it's now carried out a review of wild birds. It admits there are issues to address in order to protect vulnerable fish populations from predatory birds. It will spend the next 2 years working on an action plan to help restore balance. You can see Gwilym's interview in full and the petition he's launched by clicking on the links below. A series of new government reports has revealed the true extent of the damage done to UK rivers by pollution, sewage and abstraction. The State of the Water Environment Research Study showed 90% of Britain's most precious waterways are marked as unfavourable. Of 40 rivers with protected habitats in England, none are rated as being in good health. These include the Hampshire Avon, the Wensum in Norfolk and the Eden in Cumbria. Causes outlined in a series of surveys include pollutants from agricultural runoff, sewage discharges, microplastics and dredging. Police have withdrawn a community protection notice issued against the 200-year-old Warwickshire hunt. It ordered them to provide officers with precise locations and timings of any road crossings a week before meets were held. The hunt was due to appeal the order in court this week, but it abandoned the case after agreeing what it calls a common sense protocol to work with police for future hunts.
Whilst it's clearly good news that the Warwickshire Police have withdrawn the CPN following discussions with the Warwickshire Hunt, this does highlight wider concerns about the policing of hunting and the resources that are so often wasted as a result of responding to animal rights campaigns. It seems that some police forces have become increasingly reactive, and this should be a lesson to the police about the pitfalls of trying to satisfy extremists.
A venison cookbook has won an International Writing Cookery Award. Everyday Venison clinched a prestigious World Gourmand Award. The Gourmand World Cookbook Awards, founded in 1995, recognise exceptional food and wine culture literature. This year's competition assessed more than 100,000 books and publications from 230 countries. Writer Leslie van der Merwe picked up his prize at a ceremony in Sweden. A new film by the Guides Against Poaching Collective highlights the impact of illegal hunting in Africa. In the film, guide John Lang shows professional hunter Guy Venter a spot on the river used as a pinch point by illegal hunters. It's an area on the banks of the Zambezi which is unusually narrow, allowing the poachers to cross safely to set snares and traps.
Different cable, and I think a different tie off altogether. There are a double knot here, but you'll see that they're very, very close together, whereas this one here is a little bit further apart.
Yeah.
So I would say that this could actually be the son of something along those lines, someone who is learning, but I think altogether it's probably a different person.
A full 10-minute video is available on the Conservation Imperative YouTube channel. It explains how experts try to find snares and remove them to protect wildlife on the border between Zimbabwe and Zambia. Link below. New thermal footage has emerged showing the extent of the predator problem in the US for cattle ranchers. These images show the crosshairs on a thermal scope targeting a pack of coyotes attacking cattle. In this extraordinary clip seen on the Ultimate Night Vision YouTube channel, 45 of them are shot as they move in to attack the herd. The US government says it routinely shoots, poisons traps and kills around 90,000 coyotes each year to protect livestock. Link to the full video below. Britain's Commonwealth silver medalist Ben Llewellyn says he's confident of winning gold in Azerbaijan. Ben, who shoots skeet, is ranked 13th in the world and starts his campaign for an individual medal at the World Championships on Thursday in Baku. He's built his shooting skills to an international standard after creating his own shooting range at his father's farm in Pembrokeshire. Ben is also hopeful of getting a place in the British Olympic team. Everyone at Fieldsports News wishes him the very best of luck. We'll bring you news of how his championship went in next week's show. And finally, a team of Hereford firefighters embarked on a rescue mission with a difference this week. The Hereford and Worcester Fire and Rescue Service were called to the village of Llanwarn on the English and Welsh border to rescue a deer that had become wrapped up in a fence. Even though the fallowbuck season started on the 1st of August in England and Scotland, they used small tools and wire cutters to extract the animal from the tangle and released it unharmed. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.